Aloha and welcome to Spirit Chat Radio. So I missed a couple weeks, but I'm still here. I'm going to be checking in with you guys and making sure that I get some podcasts done. I'm trying to do at least every other week. I've been busy with the Spiritual Guru box. That's taken up a little bit more of my time than I had anticipated. And I actually have a funny story about that I'm going to tell you before I get into today's show, which we're going to be talking about spiritual routines. But anyways, it's funny because I'm really enjoying doing the spiritual guru box. Although I have to tell you, if I had any idea how much work it was going to take, I don't know if I would have done it because wow, is it taking a lot of work. That being said, not just, finding the products that I feel comfortable with referring and using myself, because everything has to have a certain feel to it and kind of a certain purpose. And some things are house stuff and some things are things that you're going to specifically be using for different things like exercises and whatnot. But everything that I get in has to have a certain energy to it, or I don't even deal with that vendor whatsoever. So I'm very, very particular about the energy of anything I bring into my life at all. So I'm very particular about the energy of anything we're putting into the boxes and bringing into your life as well. But we're making products with this spiritual guru line, and that's been really kind of fun. And we are creating all different kinds of candles and scents and different things. But one of my recent funny things was I posted this on social media somewhere. I think it was in one of my groups. But we've created one of my favorite grounding techniques and something that I've worked on over the years, especially if you're an empath. It's really important to have daily grounding techniques that you work with. I mean, like super important. And so I'm such a strong empath. I've been dealing with all kinds of different techniques over the years, and I had gotten my routine down to, I always shower at night. That's the things that I talk about. Get the energy off from the day. I use certain scented soaps and whatnot for grounding energy and all that sort of thing. Well, we've come up with a grounding scrub that I absolutely love. And it's really shocked me how much I've really loved this, and it's kind of changed my routine. Well, we went and did like a mini staycation, and when we did that, I usually keep it in the shower, obviously, and I had not put it back in the shower, and I had set it on the counter. So I went about my routine, and I'm like, oh no, I left the scrub out. And I thought, well, maybe I'm just kidding myself. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the scrub is not as good as I think it is. I'll just do my regular old routine and, just kind of test it, because you never know. I could have just started making this up in my head. I thought, well, whatever. So I did my regular old routine with a scented soap I usually use and whatnot. And I got out of the shower and I was immediately irritated. I could tell that I did not feel the same. My routine had not worked. I was thinking to myself, is this really like what I was doing before? Because I thought it worked before, but this is not good at all. And I was so irritated, and I was getting ready for bed, and then I thought, oh no. I mean, I knew better than to try to go to sleep that way. So I grabbed the scrub, jumped back in the shower, and used it, and then got out again. And I was like, oh, okay, yep, I'm feeling zen again. I'm feeling like my normal self. So yeah, that was an interesting experiment. I love the scrub. I will not be not using it anymore. But it was an interesting experiment, an interesting test that I did. Like I said, the stuff I talked to you guys about, just with empath stuff and the psychic stuff and everything through my podcast, I explain from experience, and I test things and I retest them and I check just for myself, because I like to be in the best health that I can possibly be in. As far as being a healthy psychic, a healthy empath, a healthy sensitive person. And this actually goes into some of the things that we're going to talk about today as far as your spiritual routine goes. I've had people ask me, actually it was just this last week, I had several people ask me some different things about, there's so much information out there. Basically, how do you go about, you know, a spiritual routine? I mean, what do you do for morning routine? I do the meditation, I connect with my angels, I do, you know, talk to my guide, I do the writing, I do, you know, all these things. But then, like, what's important? What am I supposed to do? That, you know, there's aura cleansing and cutting cords and shielding yourself and meditation, and it's all overwhelming. And I only have so much time. I'm going to school. I have kids. I have family, and they sort of panic a little bit because there's no system to it. They feel like. Or they feel like they're overwhelmed with a system, trying to do everything at one time. And so what happens to some people when they feel like that they don't have a routine, or they feel like they've been doing the same routine for a while, sometimes they can also get blocks. So they can either be confused on a routine and doing like too many things, or not knowing what to do, and or they can get blocks. They can have both. They can have one or the other. And I've also had some recent questions with some of my groups and people I've talked to on, you know, I feel like I have this block. I feel like I had these abilities before, and I feel like I've lost them. And or they've also talked about people have told them that they've lost them, or they told them that they have an energy block, or their chakras are blocked. And once they unblock these chakras and unblock these energy blockages, then they'll be good. Which is so incredibly not helpful that I can't believe people tell other people that. Like, that is the most incredibly non-helpful advice ever. Oh yeah, you're blocked. You probably have an energy block. You probably have a chakra block. And here's what you got to do. You might as well tell them to spin around 5 times, you know, do a cartwheel, sit down, and then keep your eyes closed for 10 minutes in silence. I mean, it's like the most ridiculous thing ever. Yes, you can have energy blocks, and yes, you can have chakra blocks, but the way that people explain how to get rid of them, or that you need them to be more psychic, or to develop your abilities, or to do whatever, the way that it's explained is just ridiculous to me, because it doesn't necessarily work the way that people think that it works. First of all, I would say 99.99% of people, you don't just lose your abilities, especially if you were very familiar with your abilities before. If it was something where maybe you hadn't developed your abilities, that's a little bit different, because then you need to work on training and developing your abilities. Hence the classes and things that I have down below this link, probably, of whatever you're listening to. But if you have been in touch with your abilities and you can feel your abilities, and then all of a sudden you feel like they're gone, that absolutely can be a real thing. You can feel like they're gone, but that doesn't mean you've lost your ability. That doesn't mean they've disappeared. You don't just lose your ability all of a sudden. That's just not something that happens. You can ignore the ability. You can not understand what part of the ability you're supposed to be working with. For instance, I'll give you an example. I've worked with some people that they work really hard on meditation. They work really hard at night. They do these specific time slots committed to their spiritual development, right? Quiet time, and very much concentrating on connecting with their guides. And they may be making some progress, and then all of a sudden they may not make progress, or feel like they're not even at the same stage of progress that they were the day before or the week before, that they feel like that they've gone backwards. And that doesn't mean you've lost your ability. That means that in the area that you're trying to work with your ability, you're having some trouble connecting. You need to now refocus it into another area. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But for those of you out there who think that you've lost your ability, if you think you've lost your ability and you feel like you have energy blocks or chakras blocked, and so now you're concentrating on unblocking your chakras and unblocking your energy blockages, I'm going to tell you it's a complete, entire waste of time. Straight up. I'll tell you why as we get into this a little bit more. So your body will naturally unblock any energy blockages and any chakras that are not working properly, as long as you do some of the things that I'm going to talk about. Your body naturally wants to be aligned. Your spiritual body and your physical body naturally want to be aligned with each other. That is the natural state that they try to strive for. Your bodies try to align up together. That's their natural thing. They gravitate towards aligning with each other, okay? Your physical body and your spiritual body also separately, in the physical aspect, your physical body, and the spiritual aspect, your spiritual body, they also naturally gravitate toward being aligned. And here's the kicker. We are the ones that jack up the alignment. And so how does that happen? It actually happens, and this might be a little bit confusing, so I'm going to explain this as simply as I can. You want to pay really a lot of attention to your emotions, because your emotions and your emotional state is a very good indicator of how you're directing your energy on a physical and spiritual level. So as you're feeling emotions, think about it this way. You can feel and connect in when you're first learning how to feel and connect in with your spiritual body. You can feel and learn how to connect in with your spiritual body by paying very, very close attention to your chest area. Throat to belly button, shoulder to shoulder. I talk about it all the time. Throat to belly button, shoulder to shoulder. And so in that area, that is where you are going to become very familiar with your spiritual body. Okay? You know, when people talk about feeling things deep down in their soul, that's the area they're feeling it in. Everything you feel in the chest area is connected to your emotions. Or, you know, emotionally. That's how people see it. They feel like, so for instance, if you're afraid, if you're worrying, if you're happy, if you're excited, if you're sad, if you're stressed, if you're anxious, all of those feelings, where do you feel them? Just think about it for a minute. Think about it. Whatever emotions you're feeling right now, think about where you're feeling it from. You're feeling it in the chest area. That's the area that you're feeling it from. Even if something upsets you in your head, what responds? The response of an emotion is in the chest area, right? Because the response is energetic and it's forming. Your emotional response is energetic. So your energetic flow is dictated by your emotions. Your spiritual body, that's the closest that you're ever going to get to feeling your spiritual body on a physical level, especially when you're just beginning. Later on, when you advance and do some other things, you'll feel it in some other ways. But that is the easiest, quickest way to feel your spiritual body. It's very much tied to how you emotionally feel. And people don't pay very much attention to this. But this emotional this emotional indicator, how you feel emotionally, is very much how you're moving your energy through your body. That's how you're moving it through your chakras. That's how you're moving it through your organs. That's how you're moving it through your entire spiritual body as far as manifestation occurs. That's how you're moving it through your physical body as far as your blood flow and your health is concerned. You are dictating your energetic flow, which then dictates the cells and the energy of your spiritual and physical body through this energetic flow. You're doing this all on an emotional level. And if you think about how this would work, if you just sit there and think about it for a minute, when you're feeling stressed, you kind of have a knot. You're holding onto energy tight, right? When you're feeling anxious, there's a fluctuation and like a vibration of fear or worry. When you're feeling excited, it's a high vibration. It's a movement in a high direction. It feels floaty. It feels high. When you're feeling happy, it feels expansive. And when you're feeling positive emotions, you're feeling a very powerful movement with those emotions. You're feeling a flow. If you start paying attention, just this next week, the next few days, start paying attention to how flowy or blocked that things feel in the chest area and in your body with an emotion. Start correlating your emotions with how things feel. Do they feel expansive? Do they feel tight? Do they feel reserved or resistant? Because you'll start noticing that there's a very direct correlation to, basically, I'm going to simplify it for you, tying knots and jacking up your energy system, stress, worry, fear, control, to feeling where you're free-flowing your energetic system, happy, relaxed, joyful, excited. Those are free-flowing energetic emotions, right? And so you want to be paying really careful attention to that, because, and I'm going to get into some routine stuff after I kind of explain this, because they really do go hand in hand. So anybody who really wants to know the routine, hang in there, get into it. So one of the biggest things that you always want to pay attention to, you don't want to waste your time with, did I lose my abilities? Is my energetic system, my chakras need aligned and all this kind of stuff? No. You don't want to worry about that. You want to monitor how your emotional system is flowing and how that's working with your energetic, because if you're on a roller coaster of emotions, basically that's what your energetic system's doing. If you are stressed out and worried, basically that's how you're managing your energetic system. If and your energetic system ties to your spiritual body, and your spiritual body is where all the information you're trying to get to is. Okay, so if you're happy and good with how things are going in life, that's how you're managing your energetic system. So it's super, super important for you to learn how to concentrate on your energetic system and your emotions, because it's a direct link to your spiritual body. And this direct link will naturally align everything that needs to be aligned. It will naturally help with your health physically. It will naturally align things on a spiritual level, your chakras, your energy system. It will naturally, because you're not resisting, you're not working against your own body. When you insist on forcing yourself to do things in life or on a day-to-day basis that remember, your chest area is not copacetic with, it's not aligned with, it's not feeling good about, then you're resisting how your physical body and your spiritual body want to naturally align. You're resisting it. You're putting rocks in there. You're putting knots in your energetic system. So it would be a really good idea for you, after you listen to the podcast, to sit down or again for the next 7 days or so, to really start paying a lot more attention to what choices are you making in life, and basically how do you feel on a day-to-day basis? What choices are you making day to day that's adding to either you knotting up your own energy system or you allowing it to free flow nicely? And I can tell you, you can align your chakras from morning, noon to night, all day, every day. But if you don't get the stuff handled, like you can do a meditation, you can do rituals, you can do everything you want. But if you're not in alignment energetically with your emotional system and your energetic body, your spiritual body, you'll never stay aligned. It'll never help. It's just not going to work. It's actually, and truthfully, you should feel really happy about this, because hopefully you're not going, oh my gosh, now what? Like, that sounds like a lot of work, and I still have to go to this job, and I still have to do this thing. And you don't really have to do anything, but let's say you do. You don't want to go out and quit your job tomorrow or nothing, because I don't recommend that. But you can plan for different things in the future. And if you plan differently for some things that you would like to choose to accomplish, or things that you'd like to change in life, to bring that happiness and that joy and that flow back in, to align yourself out better, if you can plan to do that for the future. And even the thought of planning for it and making strides towards it, you will notice your energetic system will begin to untangle. You will notice the flow will begin to get more powerful and less in a circle or jacked up or whatever, you know. But people do tend to make a lot of excuses of why they can't do this and why they can't do that. And, you know, I've thought about this often. And you really need to understand that you literally are the only person in your entire life that is with you 24/7. I mean, there's nobody else who's managing your life. It's you. So whether you think that there's all these exterior circumstances that is pushing you this direction or pushing you that direction, ultimately everything is your choice to move this direction or move that direction. So how you're managing your life and your happiness is really in direct correlation to advancing and to being unblocked and to having a nice, aligned, energetic and physical body. And you're really the only person that can do that. No one can help you do that. You are the only person. And it's a choice. And sometimes they may be uncomfortable at the beginning, and then really a lot better in the long run. But you technically, I think that a lot of people are so fearful that they would just rather be in a situation where they're sure that it's not, you know, going to get worse, which is weird to me, because most people who make changes, actually things get better. So I don't really get that. But it's interesting how many people will just stay in a situation just because they're too terrified of what they can't see. And a lot of times when I do readings, that always is so surprising to me, because I'm always like, I mean, really? You really think it's going to get worse than it is right now? Because, like, you're really not super happy right now. That's so interesting to me. So once you start paying more attention to your emotional body and where you're at on an emotional, energetic level, once you start allowing your spiritual body and your physical body to do what they naturally want to do, and stop resisting and stop putting blocks in the way of yourself, stop getting in the middle, then you will have to, then what I suggest as far as a daily routine is retraining yourself. And that's actually a huge part of one of the routine, the spiritual routines that you should do, is to retrain yourself to work with the spiritual body, and how to retrain yourself to work during the white noise time. So most people think that they need to work, you know, with their gifts and everything at nighttime or during a really quiet meditation time or whatever. That's great and all, but your gifts are way more super helpful if you can use them, like when you're in traffic and when you're at work and when you're picking up the kids and during day-to-day stuff. That's where your gifts are actually way more helpful. And so that's what's called a white noise time, especially in the daytime. It's white noise time because there's a lot of stuff going on during white noise time than you think. And it's not, the energetic noise is a little bit higher, but it doesn't change the fact that you can very much tune into your spiritual body. You just tend to ignore that chest area of everything that you're doing during the daytime. So you don't have to quiet your mind and sit during the nighttime. Use it during the daytime. So after you become familiar with the stuff that I've been talking about, start concentrating on your chest area throughout the day. So that would be one of the biggest suggestions that I make as far as a spiritual routine and what you should do. Don't get up and try to cleanse your aura. Don't get up and try to balance your chakras. Don't get up and make sure that you meditate unless you want to. Like, meditation's good. But like, I mean, it's not that you have to do it. I don't meditate every single day. I mean, it's not something that I do. Sometimes I do if I'm feeling like I'm starting to get out of alignment. And my specific purpose for it, and when I'm getting out of alignment, I can tell because I start to get stressed. And so when I start to get that stressed feeling, that tense feeling, I work very hard on becoming back in alignment and ridding myself of the stress feeling. So what I use meditation for is I use it to start visualizing and seeing outcomes that make me less stressed. So anything I'm worried or concerned about, I start seeing it resolve very clearly the next day or the next week or whatever. Anything that I'm worried that might happen, I just start to see a different outcome. So that's what I use meditation for. I use meditation for a very specific visualization of creating a different outcome of anything that I'm stressed or worried about. And I use meditation to also manifest an outcome that I'm excited about. So those are the times that I use meditation. It's not like, and I do it, I have a habit or a routine of doing it at night right before I fall asleep anyways. So I don't sit and concentrate on doing it in the morning or when I get up or whatever. But everybody's different. You can do it however you want to. So as far as your spiritual routine, don't sit there and waste time on trying to line everything up, because I want you to start lining everything up during the daytime, which then will naturally handle it on its own anyways. So you want to pay attention to how it feels in that chest area. And here's the areas you want to pay attention to how it feels. And this should be part of your spiritual routine every single day. You want to pay attention to it, the chest area, when you're making choices throughout the day. It could be a choice of whether you stay late for work, or whether you stop at Safeway on the way home, or whether you decide to go to a movie that night, or you decide to throw laundry in now or later. Any of those things. I know I've talked about this a lot, but I never used to think about it till people started asking me, when do you use your intuition or, your abilities like that? And I'm like, I use them. And I never thought about this, but it's so funny. I literally use it all the time. All the time. I could sit there and think, should I go eat at CPK or go have pizza somewhere else or whatever? And I never, ever think about this in my head. Every single time it goes straight to my chest. Which one feels better to me? CPK or the other pizza place? What do I feel a stronger draw? What feels more positive? And I go that way every time. Should I turn here? Should I leave now? Should I throw the laundry in? Every single, any should I, or where should I, or when should I moments, all my brain immediately goes to the chest, to my intuition, to my spiritual body, to see what I should do. And I head the direction that feels the best to me. Always, always, always. I don't ever do it the other way. I've never done it the other way. Well, no, that's a lie. That is not true. When I do it the other way, which I have done on occasion, never with anything major, but just with little things. And then it always ends up like, why would I do that? I know better. I do podcasts on this stuff. Like, why would I just do that? Like, why would I let my mind say, oh no, but you know what? That turkey wrap sounds way better than this. I just my mind, to me, like it can weigh in on some things, and I do use it, but it's not coupled with some of the intuitive outcome. And it's not in tune with the energetic flow of what makes my life have a better outcome or a better flow to it. My mind it's not on board with that. So I can use it for logical stuff, but my intuition is way deeper into energetic outcomes and how things feel to me. So I want to go through life with outcomes that just feel better all the time. I'm fully committed to that. If I move towards the direction of something that feels like it's going to turn out better or be better or work better or taste better or whatever, that's how I like to live. And so my chest area is the area that helps me move in that direction because it has other information that it's working with that knows what energy and what path has a more positive vibe to it, and I move that direction. So throughout the day, you want to concentrate on how you feel in the chest area with all choices you're making. Big, little, small, doesn't matter. The other thing that you want to pay attention to is how the chest area feels when you're around certain people or all people. Just pay attention to it. Well, I'll just say that last thing and then I'll say why. And then the last thing is the places that you're at. And when you start paying more attention to the choices you make throughout the day, the people that you're around, which may be the same and may be different people each day, and the places you're at may be the same, may be different. What you'll notice is many times most people tend to force themselves to do choices that don't feel good to them. They tend to force themselves to be around people and places that don't feel good to them because their brain is telling them that that's what they should do. And so I would like you to pay attention to how often you're doing that. Because once you start becoming more aware of that, then you can work on making different choices throughout the day and testing it. Once you start playing with this, see, that's tuning into your intuition and your abilities, and that's allowing that intuition and the ability relationship to develop and advance with you. That allows that connection to get stronger. And then you'll start noticing in other areas of your life. So once you start playing around with this, you'll start trusting it. You'll start building a bond with your spiritual body. You will start, there will start to be something, your brain will start gathering a lot more knowledge on, oh, when I trust this feeling, this outcome happens. Then the brain starts getting on board going, oh, you want to follow that one? I'd go that direction. Wait, you don't do that old thing you used to do. So now you're feeding your brain more knowledge and information on how the spiritual body works. So you're really retraining yourself to work with the spiritual body during white noise time, during the daytime. And that allows you to become more familiar. So you want to, as far as the daily routine, you want to be very familiar with what energy you're working with. And you want to do your best to keep that energy balanced. And how do you do that is you work with your emotions. You try to keep off the emotional roller coaster. You try to keep your emotions feeling the best that it can feel and working towards the happiest, most positive vibe you can find with your chest area. You want to always be moving that direction. Then you want to be making choices around about the people and the places and the things that you're doing in life, moving towards that positive vibe. That's what you want to be doing. That should be your routine day in and day out. If you're feeling stressed, add the meditation in, start a visualization, start feeling and moving towards a positive outcome that you create in your head and your meditation and your manifestation on what feels better, what would make this stressed out feeling go away. I'm just sit there and imagine it, work with the meditation. The last things that I would suggest that everybody make as a part of their routine is I really feel like showering at night is better energetic wise and with your empath sensitivities. It really, water washes away energy that you pick up with you throughout the day. And so that's a really good time to do that at night. I would suggest doing that at night instead of the daytime. And I would make that a part of your daily routine. And then using some types of strong scents at night before you go to bed, because that also helps balance and align out your energetic system. Whether it be a really strong scented musky soap or a strong musky incense or something along those lines, use those at night before you go to bed and or in your bedroom before you go to bed. So my suggestions are for a morning routine, forget everything else about staying aligned. You want to concentrate on the chest area during the white noise time. You want to become familiar with your spiritual body, how it feels. You want to learn how to balance your emotions and your energetic system better. You want to take more responsibility for what's happening on that level. And you want to really concentrate. Your routine should always be ironing out that energetic and allowing it to flow, and figuring out, if you can't, if it's jacked up, figuring out what choices that you can make differently and things that you can do differently, and meditate and visualize on how that can flow differently. And then basically it comes down to paying more attention to your happiness. Shower at night, sense at night. And if you want to find out more about the, grounding scrub and all that, you definitely will want to check out the Spiritual Guru box, because I am doing we are doing such cool things with that. And we're going to be doing all kinds of scents and candles and scrubs and different things for men and women. And so definitely check that out. You can go to the link below, or spiritualgurubox.com. Also, if you want to be in my Higher Purpose Learning group, I've been doing some Q&A Tuesdays over there, which I think I'm going to have to switch to every other Tuesday. If you want to get on the Higher Purpose Learning group, there's, again, probably a link, but you can go to kisaspiritworld.com. Up in the right-hand corner, there's a thing that's Spirit Community, and you can drop down, and you have to be accepted into the group, so just go ahead and add a request. We'll accept you in, because we really monitor the group, make sure there's no spammy stuff happening in there. My classes are at Kisa Spirit World, or on Instagram. I think my thing is Kisa Spirit on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, I'd love to see you over there, because I'm doing some cool stuff on Instagram also. And so I think that's all. Oh yeah, if you like the podcast and you wish to stay in touch, don't forget to subscribe. And I hope to see you soon. Until next time, have the most amazing day. Aloha.